And I mean, you already know what day it is. It's Friday, which around here, in the world, most people celebrate Friday because it's the weekend. Here, we're celebrating it because that means we got Real Housewives of Orange County and Real Housewives of Miami to talk about. So come on, get comfortable. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and get notified every time that I'm live, okay? And yeah, this is what we're going to talk about today, starting with OC. We're going to talk about the Tamra and the Jen and the Shannon of it all. We've gone from naked, wasted to naked affairs is what we're talking about. All right. We're also going to hit on some news that's coming out of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City ahead of the premiere next week. And we're going to wrap up with Real Housewives of Miami. And I'm going to tell you, as much as I love them, what I'm a little annoyed by. Okay. So come hang with me. Tell me how your week was. And yeah, tell me about your weekend plans. Can't wait to hear what y'all have going on. And can't wait to hang out with you. Starting with our OC ladies. Now, y'all already know we have nothing else to do all week long. We've been sitting here twirling our little thumbs. And then comes Thursday and we're booked and busy. We can't leave the TV all night long, So last night, Housewives of Orange County, Real Housewives of Miami, Housewives of Orange County came our way first. And it is jarring to me how little inkling there is of Katie in anything. It wasn't like there was news or anything that came out mid-season like, oh, she's no longer filming, production is not including her. Like, we knew there was beef and there were things going on. But if you had never watched this season of Real Housewives of Orange County and you started with last night, you wouldn't even know that Katie was on this show, I feel like. And that was kind of weird to me, that it was that level of moving on from it, or like, even if they discussed it, like touched on it, it was just nothing from Katie, And I told my friend, I was like, look, if I were Katie, I'd say, as long as my face is in the opening credits and y'all have me in that Housewives lineup holding my orange, I expect an episode paycheck, So it was just kind of for two reasons. This was interesting to me. Number one, because it was my guess and my takeaway from watching that, in the days after these women are no longer filming with Katie, is that maybe their goal and their attempts they were aiming to kind of shift the story and to kind of maybe not focus on the, Gretchen, Tamra, naked, wasted of it all as much. And I say that for two reasons, because number one, Katie was kind of the main driver of that story. And number two is, I think that maybe production and the women really maybe thought she was not going to come back or really have a spot maybe in the season. We all know that they did not expect the fans to take her side, So to me, it felt like a blatant, hard pivot from both production and the women to another topic and to another story. And it didn't come quick, though, because let's just be honest. Last night's episode, now I love these ladies. Last night's episode was Vicky listening to Alexis tell the story of how she met Jim. I'm going to sleep. It was not that thrilling. Now, it did pick up in the last 20 minutes, which is the storyline pivot that I'm referring to. And that was when they're on these two cast trips, which I don't like, number one. And they're at a dinner, and Jen and Tamra and Shannon and Gina are talking about the Jen and Ryan of it all, like in the early days when they got together, and how Eddie and Tamra were friends with them, and that Jen was still technically married, but Ryan was saying, like, I'm in love with her. And that led Tamra to say basically that Eddie was like, I just have a guilty conscience about it. Like, we know that she's married. We know her husband. We can't hang out with the guy that he wants to be with. And, Tamra threw that out on camera at the dinner, but then very quickly, Jen and Shannon fired back. And I said Shannon woke up, because I really feel like Shannon has been very quiet, very not involved this season. She's just back at the room, still getting ready, apparently. What just happened? Did y'all see that? Did Tamra send somebody after me? Because that's exactly what I was just talking about. I'm going to switch topics. Sorry, my house is falling apart. I got a little distracted. Where were we? Tamra affairs. Yes. So she threw that out there, basically kind of saying, well, Jen and Ryan were, before Jen and her husband had, leading Jen and both Shannon to say, Tamra, like, you literally had an affair with Eddie. So miss us with the, almighty like perspective. So was that a ghost? It was Richard. Richard, I would have preferred a red balloon. You ain't got to be tearing my walls off, For the love of God. That's going to be a problem. Yeah. So I found it very interesting that Shannon woke up in that moment. Jen has really been standing her ground, with Tamra this season. And I appreciate it. She definitely needs it in the eyes of the audience right now because she's not getting a lot of love. So she needs to be doing something active on the show that is worth watching. But she really fired back at Tamra and says, yes, you do the apology, but there's no change in the behavior. And now that's no longer an excuse because I'm not doing that to people. Shannon's not doing that to people. Gina's not doing that to people. Like, it is not normal what you're doing, is what she was saying. And then Shannon added in the comment about the affair. And immediately I was like, oh, Shannon just really be getting herself into some, that's not going to go over well. And you already have like Tamra trying to make up with you and saying that she wants to move forward. And like, by all means, you have every right to throw out, your comments and your reads and your shade and your feelings. But know that any of the half centimeter steps of progress that y'all took in the last 2 years, baby, null and void, because she just said that on camera. But at the same time, this is kind of the point they were making because Tamra said it first. And they were like, this is what you do to people. People are, you can't expect people to not do it back, I think is what they were saying. So we've shifted from drug allegations to sleeping around allegations. Now, I'll take sleeping around allegations any day as far as watching content over the other thing, But I also found it interesting because to me, as I said before, it felt like a conscious effort or attempt to shift the storyline to something else or to shift the arguments. And it's like, there's already issues between Jen and Tamra and Shannon and Tamra. And it's like producers kind of went for something there, to lean on in this time of maybe uncertainty with what was going to go on with Katie. And as much as I appreciate that, because a pivot is a sign of being on it and ready to respond in whatever way you need to. While I respect it, where was that energy for the last 12, 13 episodes? Why did we have to watch Katie be annihilated week after week if y'all had some other affair stuff and potential other storyline angles in the back pocket? Y'all sat there and watched this happen to Katie every single week with little to no progress as far as storyline and, and if it's exhausting for us to watch it, the edited down version, I know y'all was exhausted. So why didn't we get creative like we are now sooner? Just, and like, even now it seems, like Shannon's daughter, the oldest one, it seems like she's going to have a bigger presence in the second half of the season. Just different things like that it just looks like they were kind of like, we got to add more because we're not really sure I don't think they knew what was going to happen with the story, personally. That's what it sounds like to me. But we will see next week. We back to the affair allegation. Slade is doing what Slade do. He on the phone. Slade and Jamal live in the phone in Jeff's house. Jesus. But Slade is basically, doing what he does best in retelling stories from pre-Wi-Fi on airplanes and talking about Tamra having some affair with a boy band member. Let me tell you something right now. If it's not a boy band member that I still would ruin a marriage for, it's not that thrilling. It's not. So the rumors of Tamra and some guy from years ago, and it seems like he said they didn't know the phone was recording. I don't know what all that's about, but saying all that to say, Slade, I hope that you got your episode pay for next week, because it seems that you're back to doing what you do, which is, using that unlimited minutes. I bet his phone bill, baby, if it weren't for the unlimited minutes, he's like a teenager. It's like back 30 years ago, when you had to I got 5 minutes left. I got to get off the phone, not Slade. He got a show to produce. He ain't getting off the phone, Wasn't it Matt said it was like a 42-minute phone call or 24 minutes? Y'all, I hate talking on the phone. I do. And some people get offended when I say that. It's like, it's not you that I hate talking to. I hate talking to anybody. Literally. Like Andy Cohen, Selena, Jesus, Reba, Kelly Clarkson, David Archuleta. They can all call me. Will I answer? Yes. Will I take a deep sigh of frustration before I hit that swipe answer? Absolutely. I just hate talking on the phone. I really do. So Slade, whatever energy you possess that keeps you wanting to be on the phone and, productive, please pass some on to me, because I need it. Let's move on to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Now, we know that we are, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, only 4 days away, 4 sleeps away from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Season 6 premiere. And our ladies are out and about doing the full press tour, out promoting. And it's very interesting because last time on Wednesday, I think it was, when I talked with y'all, I said how much I loved this presence of Mary and the press in the promo tour, and just felt like they were really, really leaning into Mary's role on the show. In that regard, where are Heather and Whitney? And Angie? Are they saving them for a next? I just feel like I haven't seen them doing a lot of promo this week. On the Instagram, yes, but not on Bravo's dime out traveling around. See what I'm saying? So, interesting. But wanted to hit on Salt Lake City before we move on to Miami, just to let everyone know to please send Mary's son, Robert Jr., all your positive energy or prayers, or, whatever you feel is, worthy of sharing with people in these situations. He did have a situation where it seems he was arrested recently for trespassing and potentially assault. So we know that they've been, so brave and honest about sharing his story and struggles, both individually and then them as a mother and son duo with his, addiction issues and sobriety. So I know that this can't be a good story for their family to have seeing it be out. So, which I think makes the situation at hand even more difficult. So just telling you all this to bring that good energy together. I believe in good energy and good thoughts and prayers, and send them to Mary and Robert Jr. Okay. Speaking of sending things, send me a Spirit Airlines plane rather than the private jet in Real Housewives of Miami. Actually, don't. I cannot believe I just said that. I'm a huge aviation geek, and literally there's nothing I wouldn't do to fly on a private jet, especially a Global Express like Stephanie's. But that don't mean I ain't tired of hearing about it. There ain't but 12 seats on the plane. We can only talk about them so much. Play musical chairs, put everybody on the damn plane. If they don't fit, sit in the floor. The floor of that plane's nicer than any home I've ever lived in. Why are we talking about seating arrangements? Y'all have a literal wedding and event planner on the cast, Gertie. I bet she could figure out where everybody sits on the plane in 2 seconds with their eyes closed without even having to consult y'all. Gertie, save the day, please. I'm overhearing about the plane. Like, I'm overhearing about the plane. What if the reunion set is not them in the jet? Keep it, because otherwise she's going to want to come back and talk about it more. We've got to fill that void and need of needing to talk about the plane and get it out of the way immediately. Another thing we need to get out of the way is these ad placements. Richard Branson must like throw money at Bravo, because remember when Marisol called him, was it last week or the week before? And she's like, oh, I want to do a little girls excursion. Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh, we're going to a private island. It's probably not even on the map. Richard Branson like probably owns parts of the world that like aren't even reported. Okay, nice ones. We got on a boat. The ladies went on a boat. That's what Richard Branson sent them. Forget Stephanie's jet. I want Richard to send each of us a whole ass Virgin aircraft, commercial size, individually, to fly to Orlando, 20 minutes up in the sky. Because it does, all that money wouldn't make a dent in his weekly budget. You own like islands. You probably own half the dolphins and whales in the sea. And you send me a boat, a cruise ship with strangers? Absolutely not. And to make it all worse, it's all for ad placements on Bravo. Now, look, what pays the bills? Views. Because they get higher ad placements, you know? And so ads are how the network gets paid and how the women get paid and how the shows stay on air. So I'd rather them film only on a boat and never leave than not have our Miami girls around. But it's like, it didn't feel like they were going on a boat. It felt like they were doing an influencer trip. You know what I'm saying? Like it was not discreet whatsoever. It wasn't subtle at all. Having said that, Richard, I would like to get on the boat. I just don't want to see the girls do it. You know what I mean? Also, Alexia, baby, if you're going to be going and doing back down the road with your man to the bedroom, you got to find a way to keep it quiet. Get you a journal, get you a pen pal in prison that can't tell nobody, get you an anonymous Reddit account, because these girls are doing all they can to get you on literally any other man's rather than Todd's, and you are strapped in like a roller coaster, shoulder bar. She's like, I ain't leaving. No, going nowhere. So, and she's shameless about it too. Like they did a whole ass trip to Spain just to get her distracted from this man. And before they were even out of customs at the airport back in Miami, she was already on Todd. Again, you do you. But you're making life harder for yourself by telling your friends about it who are there to try and help you move on and giving you advice that you're not taking and taking you on trips that you're then going and telling your ex about while y'all bang it out. Like, I think we got to pick a lane, you know? Either you do what you and Todd want to do and you ask your friends to just let you figure it out, and you don't need them to worry about stress and you know, making sure that you're okay, that you appreciate what they've done, and we'll see what happens. Or you lean into that support and really move on that they're trying to help you do. Right? These women. All right, everybody. As we start to wrap up, I'm going to go back and see what y'all had to say. We've got Pepsi from London. Oh my gosh. Hi. Hello. How are you? How was your week, boo? Let's see. Hurrdat. Was that a ghost? Honestly, yeah. Like I said, it was probably Richard. Dolphins and whales brought to you by Virgin Atlantic. You know, it ain't Free Willy, but I'll take it. You know? They at least could have done like a whale watching boat ride. Hello. Like, all they did was go on the boat, show off the rooms, you know, And also, if you notice, like, and Bravo was honest about it. They posted about it on Instagram, I think. Remember the Bravo Fan Fest in Miami, like the little mini BravoCon? The girls went from that straight to the boat. Their outfits were the same. So they were like, work, work, work. Y'all know who would be proud about that. All right, everybody. Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this week. We did Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're going to do the same next week. 3 p.m. Eastern every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And yeah, it's going to be a fun week next week. I'm going to be gearing up to go see the OG herself. I'm heading out to LA for some fun things that we're doing. And yeah, who knows? And next week, y'all are only going to see me one more time before the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So come prepared on Monday for your best Baby Gorgeous karaoke performances. And let's leave the hospital smell at home. Let's leave the money we stole from our innocent elderly people at home. And let's just come and have a good time and celebrate our girls that are coming on Tuesday. Okay? All right. I love y'all as always. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll see y'all back here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern of next week. Hit that subscribe button so you always get notified. And be sure to whip it up this weekend.